Welcome to Big Joe Phones Repair. Today we have Infinix Smart 86625. This phone came to my office from a fellow technician in a dead condition. The phone is not switching on. The technician said he has changed a new battery, he has changed with a new screen, the phone is not switching on. So when I connected to my DC power supply, as you can see the reading, it stacks at 200, right? It stacks at 200. The moment we press the power button, the reading stacks at 200. All right, so let me explain the problem of this phone to you. This phone is not turning on. It's not turning on. If you change a new battery, the phone will not turn on. No matter the battery that you use, fully charged or whatever, the phone will not turn on. So I discovered that if I use my alligator probe from my DC power supply, the phone can switch on, but the phone will be doing on and off. All right, so I have to figure out the exact problem from this phone, because from my alligator probe the phone can switch on, but with the battery the phone is not turning on. So for me being in this work, I fully know that then this is a battery terminal fault. All right, this is not an IC fault. This is not an IC fault. No, this is a battery terminal fault. Looking at the reading of my DC power supply, it may seem like the phone is suffering from dried solder joint or something like that, but this particular phone is not, the fault is not from any dry solder joint or CPU or whatever. So I figured it out that the battery ID is having a problem. All right, the battery ID is having a problem. So when I check the battery ID, the resistors that are responsible for the battery ID are bad. All right, so as you saw earlier on with our multimeter, instead of us getting, it's a 1k resistors, the resistors that controls the battery ID are 1k resistors. All right, are 1k resistors. So at this moment we have to figure it out and then replace these two resistors responsible for the battery ID. Okay, so let's test and see the resistance value of these two battery ID resistors. All right, so take note of the readings of the screen. This one, it took me a lot of time to diagnose. All right, to diagnose this phone, because I have to be very careful and I have to get this phone fixed for the fellow technician. All right, so when we check the resistor of the battery ID on this panel, we got 50, is it 507 or 504, something like that, as you can see. So at this moment we have to find the correct resistor and replace these two resistors of the battery ID. Don't forget that here is Big Joe Phones Repair. So I got these two resistors from a donor board. From a donor board. All right, from a donor board. So let's proceed as we are changing these two resistors for this battery ID. All right, for this battery ID, bear in mind the phone was not switching on. The phone was not switching on. The phone will not switch on because these phones, they need the VBAT, the GND, and the battery ID to power on this phone. All right, to power on this phone. So that is why the DC power supply, the alligator probes, were able to switch on this phone, because the alligator probe, it is having only two cables, the VBAT and the GND. All right, and the GND. So it has left with the battery ID so that the phone can fully power on. So that is why the DC power supply was giving that stuck reading. If you press the power button, the phone is trying to power on, but it is not powering on fully. So the phone will be, the panel will be warm. Right, you will feel that the panel is warm, but there is no display, there is no there is no display that you can see that the phone is working. All right, because it needs the battery ID to power fully. All right, so as we are replacing these two resistors, take note that previous readings was 507 from the battery ID resistors. Okay, don't forget that here is Big Joe Phones Repair. Please, I need your help by subscribing, like, comment, and share to your fellow technician. Most of the people watch my video, they don't like, they don't comment, but they are adorable as well. So after replacing the resistor, look at the readings that we are getting. All right, now we are getting 998. That shows a good reading. That shows a good reading. So we are checking on the resistor. Now we have 810. Now we have 810. At first we got 507. All right, so let's try to power on this phone with my boot cable. This is my boot cable. So we are powering on again. Yes, so now as you can see, the phone has come back to life. You have seen the power fluctuating. You have seen the power fluctuation on the DC power supply. This shows a good sign, and this shows that the phone has power on full. If today is your first time watching my video, please make sure you subscribe. You follow me on TikTok if you are watching this on YouTube, and then if you are watching this on TikTok, you follow me on YouTube. I'm on Facebook as well. The name is Big Joe Phones Repair. The name is Big Joe Phones Repair. Now we have our phone fixed. We have our phone fixed. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave your comment. Here is Big Joe Phones Repair. Thank you for watching my videos.